Hey there, it's Justin Heminger with Apex Realty Group at Real Broker here in Fairbanks. And today we're going to talk about the reasons why I love Fairbanks, and I'm going to tie in the seasons. So let's talk about how I love Fairbanks, but in relation to the seasons. Welcome to our channel. We help folks buy and sell homes here in Fairbanks with a combined experience of over 20 years and well over about 1,000 transactions. The mission of our channel is to help empower our community with what we've learned along the way. Investing in real estate in Fairbanks can be a fantastic experience, but definitely some pitfalls along the way, and they are super obvious to us, but we want to make sure that they're obvious to everyone else too. So let's get into it. First on the list is winter. We'll get the hard one out of the way first, because I mean, most people are going to think that winter is the hard one to love, but there are a lot of things to love about winter in Fairbanks. For one, it's about the only time that you're really going to see any darkness is the latter parts of fall and the early parts of spring and all of winter. So being able to be outside, it might be really, really cold, but being able to be outside and seeing the aurora is amazing. This past year was an amazing year for solar activity and being able to see the aurora borealis. So without the winter, we wouldn't be able to see the aurora. On top of that, being able to see all the different constellations, being able to see the moon as clearly as we can from here, especially on clear nights. This year, seeing the comet E3 ZTF was really cool and an awesome experience to share with the kids. We were able to borrow a friend's telescope and we tried to look at it. We couldn't quite get it into view because it was just out of reach of that telescope, but it was so clear that night. We were able to see the moon really clearly, see Saturn and Venus. It was really cool, but we wouldn't be able to take advantage of that without the winter that we get. And without that in Fairbanks, we wouldn't have it. All right, well, next on the list is spring. So spring, although it seems like this couple weeks that we might experience in like May, June, because that's what it feels like. We kind of have this feeling of spring. It's actually starting, right at the latter parts of March, and I love it. That last part of March, early part of April is probably my favorite part of the year. It's just getting to the point where it's warm enough to go outside and you can spend some time outside, but it's still cold and you can move around on the snow a little bit before it's like too slushy to move around outside. But it's light outside until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's a whole lot of fun. This past weekend, we may have gotten a little bit of summer fever a little bit too early, but we started our springtime hiking out at Wickersham Dome and went out and did that. I think we looked at the calendar and it looks like we've done it on previous years a little bit closer to like the middle of April and a little bit colder and windier than we had remembered, but it was still a lot of fun. But those are a lot of fun things that you can do in the spring when it's still nice and cool. There's no bugs. It's a lot of fun. Along with that theme of summer fever is kind of that idea of, well, if I start to dig out some of my gardens and my compost, I can get a jump on the garden season and maybe I can plant a little bit early this year. You can't ever really plant early this year or any other year, but maybe. Who knows? So we've already gone out and scraped off all of our raised beds and our compost piles, and we're starting to do a little bit more compost because we've got access to the compost now. So it's a really exciting time getting ready for summer and planning out all of the fun camping trips that we're going to take during the summer. Love the spring. Thinking about moving to Fairbanks? Well, click on the link below for my free relocation guide where I talk about top schools, top neighborhoods, and so much more. All right, well, next is summer. And summer is the reason why we put up with all of the winters. And although it seems like winter might be like 15 months long sometimes, and we get a couple of weeks of good summer, those couple of weeks are just amazing. And they're hard to beat anywhere. Temperatures are right in the 80s, maybe in the 90s sometimes. There's no humidity. Might get a little smoky from here every once in a while, but it's awesome. When it starts to happen, you start to see this transition in May and June where all of a sudden all the trees go from brown and then there's like this little hint of green. And then there's this explosion of green and everything just spreads and covers hillsides everywhere with green. And then everything's green and it's just gorgeous. We missed it last year, but really looking forward to it this year. It's gonna be pretty cool. Some of the best activities to do here in Alaska, you can do in the outdoors, whether it's hiking or fishing or hunting or camping or any combination of all of those things you can get done in the summer leading into fall. So the fact that there's an endless supply of outside and sunlight in the summer means that you can go out and do and experience pretty much all of the cool things that you can do outside in Alaska. And Fairbanks is a great spot to use as a jumping off point to be able to experience Alaska. And that's what we particularly love about being here, is that we can get anywhere in the state from right here. And we can just jump off the road road and we're right in the middle of nowhere. It's amazing. And not only that, but there's a ton of activities that happen every day during the summer, and a really good spot to take a look at to see what's happening today, like anywhere all over Fairbanks, is the Explore Fairbanks website at www.explorefairbanks.com/events. Check that out. We'll put that down in the description as well. And they're a great source for any kind of summertime activity. If you're looking for something to do in the middle of the summer, that's an awesome spot to talk to. All right, last on the list is fall. So fall also kind of seems like a little bit of a buffer season for us up here, because it's like, oh, it was just summer, and then all of a sudden there's snow on the ground and it's really, really cold. And like I said, it's going to be 15 months of this for some reason. It's not exactly true. If you pay attention, there's a lot of really cool things that happen in the fall. Just as you kind of watch the colors change in the spring, when everything suddenly changes from brown and a little bit gray to a little bit of green to just everything's green. You can watch the same thing happen, going from green to a little bit of yellow to this big wave of yellow, and then orange and a little bit of red, and then everything kind of falls apart. And it's gorgeous watching the hillsides all change, and that only happens in fall. We wouldn't have that if it didn't happen. For me, it's also a memory of going out to moose camp, out to caribou camp, going up in the White Mountains, and just being out and being with nature in the fall. That is the time to be out there, and it's an amazing time of year. At home, it's a time for preparing for winter. So we're out raking leaves, we're filling up the compost bin just before winter. We're hopefully remembering to cover up the camper before it snows. We didn't remember this year. Hopefully we remember next year. We're getting the trailer put away. We're doing all the things that we can to start the year the right way. And then we start over again with winter. And there we are again. We hope you got some value from this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Reach out to us at www.fbxhomesearch.com. You can also give us a call, 907-885-0316. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.